He thought hiding a box of condoms in his dad's nightstand was a genius move for his high school shagathon. But a year later, that same box became the smoking gun in his parents' divorce. This is the story of how one teenage oversight accidentally exposed a family secret and changed everything. This was a long time ago, when I was a senior in high school. My parents decided I was old enough to be home while they went away to a couples resort somewhere in the Caribbean. Being a good kid, I kept my promise to not have any parties. Being a not-so-good kid, I invited my girlfriend of the time to sleep over, while my parents were out shagging each other silly on some pink sand beach, or so I assumed. My brother was away at college, but I still slept in the bunk bed we had growing up. I didn't think it would be very good for sex, and it was too skinny for two people to sleep on. I was pretty sure she wouldn't want the top bunk all to herself either, so I changed the sheets in my parents' bed and planned on doing all the sleeping and screwing there. There was an initial ick factor, but when you're young and horny and there's an entire bed, an entire house to have sex in, you get over that sort of thing fairly quickly. Here's the screw up. In anticipation of more consecutive days of sexual activity than I had ever imagined possible, I had purchased the big box of condoms. It had like 36 rubbers in it. I figured it would last the first weekend and then we could go get more. I'm not sure why, but at some point I took one out of the box and tried it on. Maybe I wanted to make sure it would fit on my enormous penis. Yeah, that's probably it. Anyway, it seemed okay, so I took the condom off and threw it away. Then I hid the box with the other 35 of them in my dad's nightstand. I mean, I didn't want my girlfriend to see a giant box of condoms sitting right out in the open. She might get the wrong idea about me. As it turned out, I never got to use any of the condoms. My girlfriend had also prepared for the big event. Without telling me about it, she had seen an OB/GYN and got a prescription for birth control pills. And she had timed it so that they'd be effective before our ultimate shagathon. And so the condoms remained unused and entirely forgotten in my dad's nightstand. This isn't about the actual shagathon, so I'll just summarize it as awesome. Fast forward nearly a year. I'm now living in a dorm. One night, I get a call from my brother who tells me that mom and dad are getting a divorce. She apparently caught him cheating on her. I'll never know the full details, but from what we could gather, it went like this. First, mom found a giant box of condoms in dad's nightstand, and it was opened and one empty condom wrapper was inside. I didn't remember doing that, but it made sense that I would. Then she accused him of having an affair and said she had evidence, meaning the box of condoms, but not being specific at the time. Surprisingly, he believed her without asking what evidence exactly, and admitted to having had an affair a few years prior. They had a huge fight, angry words exchanged, lawyers engaged, divorce imminent. It took a second, but then I remembered the 35 baby barriers I had left in my dad's nightstand. Blame the fog of war or something. I definitely hadn't been thinking about cleaning up after myself. Granted, my dad's inability to keep his zipper shut was not my fault, and it's possible that he might have been caught some other way. Unlikely though, since the affair had been completely over for more than 2 years. And it's not like they had a perfect marriage. Things were pretty messed up long before all of this. I'm pretty sure that the Caribbean vacation had been sort of a last-ditch effort to rekindle their spark. But the initiating event was all mine. Sometimes the smallest actions have the biggest consequences. For him, a forgotten box of condoms became the catalyst for his parents' divorce, even if the cracks in their marriage ran much deeper. Was it his fault, or just a twist of fate that brought the truth to light? If you've ever had a moment where your actions had unintended ripple effects, this story will hit close to home. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in his shoes? And if you believe in the power of honesty, even when it's messy, hit subscribe, because sometimes the truth comes out in the most unexpected ways.